The closest representatives ever come to failing. Ooh, see, that's a tough one. I still have them dreams today, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. I need to get this brand to a level where I could buy 10,000 of these fucking things. Then what are they going to say? Ooh, biggest learning of 2025. In there with a hot one. I'm going to say that no matter how big you get in business, the stress levels grow with it. I think some people always, they come up to you, they believe that, like, you know, the bigger they're going to get, the faster they're going to grow, the easier it's going to become. And that's, I'd say, the opposite. I'd say actually levels itself out. But the stress that you have at the start of the business is the same level as the stress you have way deep into the business. It's just that it's on a different level. Yeah, that I still can't get a sub-3 marathon. But that is the goal for next year. First things first on the fitness list. Still got to hit that sub-3. Most memorable moments from the year. I think on a business level, we've got to say opening the London store. To have like a flagship 5,000 square foot location in the middle of Soho that's done to the absolute top level of taste perfection is my favorite brand moment of the year. On a personal level, I think just being able to sustain ourselves out here in LA whilst the business is in the UK. Obviously, we go back and forward a lot, but we've built a sick little content team here who's with me right now. And I'm enjoying it, and I'm loving the battle. I'm loving the war that we're in over here, and the growth in America is coming. That goes straight into my brain for something that Spenny brought to the table at the start of this year, and it was to really split the design business units out. So we looked at how we do mainline, how we do the DNA, which holds initial and owners club and more basic jersey programs. Then we looked at 247, and then we looked at collabs and what we now call the Heaton swim lane. So we split them up into 4 different design districts. So each one has its own team, each one has its own focus, and each one has a 24/7 look at how it's going to go and where it's going. Whereas before this year, we would just dip in and out of each of them, and me and Mike could be having different hands in different pies all the time and not knowing where certain ones are at the different levels of the year. So it's a struggle because you're doing different types of products for different consumers, but sometimes they look the same, but they end up in a different category or collection, and it can get really messy, especially when you're doing a lot of SKUs. So doing that and splitting it up gave a lot of focus, and yeah, I'm super excited to see how that goes. And you kind of already see how it goes online now, as we launched Owners Club, the new collection, 2 months ago. That was like the first of what this rollout looks like. I think I did originally, when back in the day we would go to Paris Fashion Week and we would go into these parties and these shows and you didn't feel like you were supposed to be there. Not so much anymore, just because we've been doing this for a long time and we've been to a lot of places and met a lot of people. Now, I did get that feeling again when we started 247 and we joined the fitness space, and we were kind of like brushing shoulders with giants in the space and real athletes that sometimes also competing with. I think you kind of get a little bit of imposter syndrome then, and it's such a good thing to have because it pushes you and it allows you to think outside the box that you're always thinking and see where people have gone to and what people are doing that are at a much higher level than you. So I actually enjoy that kind of thing. I think it's actually a good thing. I think it depends how you use stuff like that. A lot of people who are successful use that as like a fuel to the fire. I think when people don't support you, whether it's your close family or your friends or people in your local hometown, whatever that may be, the country that you're in, I think you can use that as like a chip on the shoulder to push harder and go further and get to levels where they would never expected you to get to. I mean, I remember one story back in the day when I bought this, it was an R8, an Audi R8 when I was like 21 years old, and it was like such a sick car, and I wrapped it matte black and it looked like some kind of Batman thing back then. And I remember someone pulling up next to me and saying that my dad had bought it for me, And I was like, you know what? I need to get this brand to a level where I could buy 10,000 of these fucking things. Then what are they going to say? So yeah, I love that kind of thing, and I think a lot of people do. Avoidance that eventually becomes something is just a natural thing in business. And I think as creatives, especially, like a lot of the business side for me, I was avoiding. I didn't like to look into day-to-day trade and numbers and things that would take my energy. So what I actually did was implement a C-suite team of people that are way better than me at that, and they can kind of just relay it off to me in the way that I want to see it. And that helped flourish the business, definitely. I always look at it, fitness and training especially, as like, and in the physical aspect, it's a muscle that you've got to fucking train every single day, mentally as well. I feel like you can kind of fall off the desire to want to win something or to get a certain time or whatever it is that you have for your fitness goal. And I felt like this year I've kind of slipped away from that a few times just due to injuries. But we started off the year really strong. I mean, I did High Rocks doubles pro with Jake that was in Vegas, and got like a time which I never thought I could get. I didn't think I could even run 3:30Ks, but we managed to do insane in that, and that gave me a really big confidence boost to then go into LA Marathon the next month and PB'd that at 3:07, which was kind of like a warm-up that I wanted to do for London Marathon the month after that, which I wanted to go sub 3, and that was the goal, and I felt the fittest that I've ever felt. But I took on a little injury in my IT band and I literally couldn't run. I went home to do the marathon and I couldn't run that whole week before it, so I decided to back out of that. And it kind of gave me a life lesson that I shouldn't be doing too much all the time. We'd just recently done Speed Project, which was a relay run from LA to Vegas, and that's what I kind of overtrained and overdid myself in terms of the work, because I went from doing 50-mile weeks to 100 miles in a day. So yeah, just learning lessons and understanding where I'm at with my fitness journey. And also, whilst I was injured and whilst I was trying to overcome those injuries for the rest of the year, I really just put focus onto what I enjoy doing and being in the gym and lifting and enjoying the bodybuilding aspect of things, but still maintaining that base and maintaining that cardio. So when I'm able to pick my legs up again and run at a healthy pace, then I'm ready to go back into the marathons, which I'm just about there now. I'm excited to do a lot of the 247 activations next year. I'm definitely going to be doing the 247 mission. We did Rivington in the first year, and us as 247 athletes, or whatever you want to call us, like, we didn't want to take part because we didn't want the story to be about us. We wanted it to be about the community. This year we're going to put a few teams together, and I'd love to get involved with that, and that'll scare me, and that'll be a really tough day. But outside of that, yeah, it's hitting my marathon goal, and a lot of people every day are always asking me when am I going to go back to High Rocks, so that is also on the cards for the 2026. Oh, and we have one more thing, the Beverly Hills Classic Bodybuilding Show. Me and Diego going head to head, and Seba might be coming to to judge it. I think more so the Manchester store was the one that hit me emotionally, just because we'd spent a good few years trying to find the location and get the right spot for that space, because we wanted it to be there for as long as the brand lives, and we didn't want to go small, and we didn't want to, do something that in a couple of years down the line we go, fuck, we should have done it this way or that way. And Mike said that to us when we were about to sign our place before that, and we went back on ourselves, and it took 2 years longer than what it should have done. And I remember just pulling up to it. Me and John flew back from LA. I went and met Spenny in Manchester. We drove straight to the store the night before the opening, and I did a walkthrough with all the team and the staff that were working there, and that moment hit me like something that hadn't before, and I felt the emotion even from Spenny, because he was having a little tear up. And the next day we had the full launch event and the party, and it was just such a sick moment. Like, you don't realize when you're starting these kind of brands that you get so many people involved and so many people put their whole life and effort into something that, like, when these things happen, you gotta really take it in and enjoy it. I think the 247 games was like such an interesting thing that no brand is really doing, and I wanted it to be so unique. You know, we could have just put a 10k race on, or we could have just done anything that everyone's doing. But for me, it was like, right, what do we do that's so fucking sacred to who we are and our heritage and where we were brought up, and what we've built this brand into? Like, our HQ gym is in Horwich. I've lived in Horwich all my life, so has Mike. Like, everything we do is from this little town where I started my running career, and I started fucking doing 10Ks around this lake. And then the barn that owns the lake is the place that we wanted to put the mission in. And then everyone would start there, and we'd do this full 12-hour endurance race where teams could get involved. I wanted it to be a teamwork because I love training with other people, and I feel like that's the best bonds you can create when you're going through hard things. So that was first and foremost. Teamwork, hometown, and just really showing what 247 is about through grit and determination. And like we say, we're on a mission. That was the mission that we created for the year, and we're going to anniversary that next year, and we're going to go harder and better and bigger and do more of them. And you know, things like that are different because it's not about the product, it's not about the clothes, it's about people coming together and really fucking working hard to achieve things that they didn't think they were capable of. And even on that, being based where we are and, you know, so far out from everything in the world, like, we had some of the best athletes in Britain turn up. We had people turn up from Germany and Austria and all these other places just to compete. And that means so much to us because, you know, 247 is a brand that we started 3 or 4 years ago just with a pair of pants, and now it's become this thing where people all over the world are wanting to get involved with the things that we're doing. So yeah, that was probably my favorite moment of the year. I think if we look at the Iron Maiden thing, you know, we've spent 4 or 5 years now doing collabs with rock bands. It's something that has been true to who we are as a brand. And if you look in our archives from 10 years ago, you'll see references of Oasis and references of the Parkers that Liam Gallagher wore, and the Metallica tees and the Inside Out vintage tees. And I was coming to LA and looking through all the vintage tee stores and the bins and trying to find these things that really hold a secret like source that you can't get when you just manufacture a garment. So we spent so many years like trying to recreate that 40-year-old band t-shirt and the essence of it and what that feels like when you put it on, so that when these bands came along and, you know, someone reached out from their team and said, can we do this collaboration, it's like we're ready for it. We're able to do something that no other band and brand have done before. And then we have the best graphics team in the world that are able to not only put their artwork on our garments, but be able to like combine both their artworks and our design philosophies to create something that, again, no other band is doing. So it feels right when these huge rock bands come to us and say, like, we want you to be our collaborator. And obviously Iron Maiden have never done a band and brand collab before, so that was so good, such a good feeling. And I'm sure Mike was over the moon with that because it means so much when you're able to do something for the first time. So I think we hit that one out of the park. And Oasis is so true to us. We're a Manchester brand. We're two brothers. We come up from nothing. They came from nothing. They took over the world. We're trying to take over the world. Like, it made sense. And we got a Liam Gallagher collab a few years before that, where we had a little pop-up in Manchester whilst he was doing his show. That just became like a natural thing, that when we found out Oasis were gonna, or maybe gonna, get back together, we were there ready with it. We had the graphics ready, we had the garments ready, we knew what we wanted to do, and we were the first brand to actually launch something with them. So that was one of the best nights of our time launching. And it was a random night on a December where everyone was so busy and everyone was like getting ready for Christmas, and we put it online and it just went crazy. And we didn't even celebrate it. It was just like, oh, fucking hell, that was insane, on to the next. So yeah, I look back at that time and I think, like, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and will that ever get replicated again? I don't know. I think it's great that now we're able to actually be seen as a fashion brand. I think on our come up, we were never seen as like a big player in the space. And as we've grown and grown over the years and matured in our identity and our product, and more so just the brand as a whole, like, it's great to be recognized by these huge outlets and press, and get put on the right people, and be able to just talk at these events, like, is huge for me. I'm always wanting to learn, so I love being at things like that and seeing who amongst the crowd is listening and who we can listen to. And a lot of it is storytelling, and I love telling the story of the brand. Like, we've got such a unique story and a position in this market that's kind of different, and now it's starting to get accepted, especially on a global level, that these type of things are sick. Like, I would never say no to something like a GQ Heroes or like the Wonderland magazine. Like, the shoot was hard and it was different, and it was having someone else that's not from our team shoot it, which felt strange because I'm usually the guy behind the camera, like directing it with the guys shooting. This time I was in front of the camera, so it felt a little bit different, but I think the content came out well. And it was sick. We did a really cool event for it that night. The dinner was cool and the magazine looked sick, so super happy about that, and appreciate them guys for letting us do that. I think if I go back to segmenting out the different swim lanes of the brand, like I told you, the DNA and the main line, the collabs, and 247, I think one mistake that really drove that decision making was the fact that we had everyone doing everything, and it kind of got to a level where it snowballed to a point where it felt like there was kind of no return unless we stopped it right there and changed the way we worked. And I think that sometimes I use this analogy a lot, but sometimes you got to get to the bottom of the mountain to be able to start climbing the next mountain. And it made sense because we were at this place where something had to be done. When you're flying high and everything feels like it's great, you don't think about that. You don't think about having to change it. And sometimes like you've got to take a step back to look at it from a different viewpoint and go, if we carry on doing that, we're going to get to this point here where we're going to have to change. So kind of taking that back a little bit and foreseeing it. I think that's definitely one area. I'd say the other area is we never adapted Owners Club too quickly. That became such a huge part of our business and such a big statement about the brand, and we didn't display it enough, we didn't show it enough, we didn't show it off enough. It grew to such a huge level and we didn't talk about it, we didn't post about it, and we didn't move it on in time. Now we've moved it on, and obviously the new collection has everything new about it: fits, fabric, silhouettes, the way we shoot it, what it looks like, and who it is for now. Like, we've completely done that beautifully this year, but we had to rush that through, and it was something we should have done 2 years ago. So that's something that I guess people outside of the brand doesn't really notice, but when you're inside the brand and you leave them timelines too long, that when it gets to a point where you need to change, you're then still another 9 months out from that product coming out, so you've got that huge delay. The closest representatives ever come to failing, 2019. 2019 was a terrible year for us. We went through the motions of trying to be someone that we weren't, creating products that we didn't even want to wear, and we took a really hard look at ourselves and completely changed the brand, completely changed the way we look, completely changed the way we feel, the quality of the product, what we talk about, who we are as people, and also where we produce our products. And that then gave us a little bit of a step into 2020 where we had this 12-month period of, it felt like the world was ending, but as soon as it started to work out, then we just took off like a rocket ship. I think you'll really see those swim lanes that I talk about come to life. The different sections of the brand you'll see hold their own DNA and also be able to focus so much on each and every piece, to the point where, when that customer gets one piece, whether it's from Owners Club or it's from Mainline or it's a leather jacket or it's just a pair of denim, like, there's such a great feeling that when that customer puts it on, they understand what the brand is. And I feel like we've got so many more people involved with every single piece now that it gives it that extra level of attention to detail that sometimes I felt like is just missing. Like, we're 99% there, but it's just not got that one little bit of thing that makes you go, that's what fucking I want. And I feel like we're doing that now, and we're seeing it come through. And like, even when you see the product on the showrooms, like when we go to Milan or Paris, like what we'll do in January, when we see our own product that we designed over the past 12 months really have its own fit and feel, and and give you that excitement, that's when you know that things are going to work. And I love that moment so much, and we're at that point now where it feels like that with every single part of the business. I'm saying no to coming back to the HQ every month. No, but focus is going to lie on the US. We've got a huge game plan for next year. We're hiring a head of US who has an insane background in the industry, and he's putting the team together. So this office will be built out more than just like, now we've got content and retail. It's going to be everything. We're going to have e-com, we're going to have localization, we're going to have wholesale, we're going to be doing everything out of here, which I'm super excited for. So building out what we've got in the UK over here in the US whilst we grow over here is something that I'm going to be focused on. And outside of that, my usual lane is what I stick to, which is content and product. I think for me, it's always like looking at the fundamentals, who we are, what we do, what we stand for, and going back to that with everything we do, whether it's a pop-up store or it's the way a fragrance smells or it's the feeling someone gets when they walk into a Represent store. I think making sure that all them aspects are dialed will keep us separated from the competition. There's always going to be brands that are coming up and trying to take the bait and take a bite off your table. And now we show the success of the brand so much, whether you read an article on Vogue or it's a business of fashion piece or you see what we're doing in our stores, like, or even me on a podcast, like what I talk about, it makes so many people want to go and do the same thing, and people will eventually get there. But as long as we're ahead in terms of the way we pioneer our products and the way we go to market and what we're doing and what we're thinking about and how we're looking at the future, they're always going to be a step behind because they're copying what we've already done. And what we've already done has been in the plan for 18 months, so you can't really catch up. One thing I'm trying to leave behind in 2025 is maybe it's just like mood. I get a lot of like bad moods from things when things aren't going the exact way I want it to be, and I felt myself slipping into that a little bit towards the end of this year. And over the past few years, I've not really had that, and I feel it coming back. So I'm trying to put that in the bin and forget about it and be optimistic. I mean, when Spenny comes out here, who's our CEO, like, he always brings such a fucking high level of optimism into everything we think about and the mindsets that we have and what we're doing. And I always feel that slightly drained until he comes back, and it's like a stepping stone. I go down and down, and he comes back and he brings it back up. So just trying to maintain that level of optimism throughout everything. It's a super stressful business, and it does get fucking hard at times. It can look so good on Instagram just because you see the highlight reels or you see it behind the scenes on a campaign, but you know, day to day it's tough. We're living 2 days every day. We work from 5 a.m. till 11 a.m. on the UK side of things, and then we work from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. on the LA side of things. So, you know, it's tough on the mind and it's tough physically, and then you're trying to train on top of that and keep yourself at a good athleticism level. It gets a lot, but I love it. Things I love the most about building the brand is when a campaign comes together. There's so many different people in so many different categories of the brand that have to put things together in order for this one thing to work, and then we've got to execute it to such a good level that everyone is then satisfied with it and it looks great outward. So I love it when things like that come together, and Caesar sends over the first clip of the campaign. I'm like, that's what gets me fucking hyped up. But on a personal level, probably doing that High Rocks doubles with Jake, finishing that was the toughest hour of my life, and I was in fucking agony for a few days after it. So yeah, just like kind of enjoying those moments and loving the hard things, the things that hurt. I like digging into that and getting deep on that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely. I feel like Mike is always looking for that next thing. He's always looking for that next graphic or that next design that really causes a fucking huge stir. And when we was over here in March and he brought out Will and we were all sat around designing, like, we wanted to somehow bring our British roots into the new LA culture that we've got and that we're trying to build in this city. And it felt so right to kind of put the word of England into LA and, kind of go down that route of what we're used to and what is new to us, and not have it such a big focus on the word of represent, but it's just something else that has its own place in the brand, but it doesn't have to say the brand. And then what happens to that over the next few years is people start to understand that that's what it is, and when they see it and they recognize it in the street, they know it's from represent. And it's just all about building that storytelling of a couple British lads that moved over to LA and did what they can do here. So I feel like that's such a sick graphic and a good meaning of what we're trying to do in our identity. And I think you'll see, or you're already starting to see, the shaping of the brand go from very British to also having that Western Americana twist on it, which is the way we're looking in 2026. You know, recently I've been meeting up with guys that have started brands that are doing 10 times what we're doing in such short amounts of time through different types of marketing and different price points and things like that. I only know what I know, right? I've created a brand that has a luxury price point, a luxury feel, a luxury aesthetic, the content's luxury, like everything we do is like polished perfectly, and I want that because that's what my name is behind. Where, you know, today people can go and put small price points to market, run through TikTok shop and do huge revenue numbers. So I'm not going to say one way is wrong or one way is right, but if you're going to put your name to something and you want it to last for a long time, which I do, give it your all and make sure it is absolutely perfect when you put it out, because your name is behind it. Yeah, I feel like YouTube's such a big subject for us now, because we started putting out vlogs on the Represent channel for the past few years now, and when you meet people in the street, when you meet people in the grocery store, wherever it is on a 247 run, the first thing they always point to is the YouTube. Now, when you've got a loyal customer or a good fan that is really interested in you, long form is the way to go, because you know they're so dedicated to you or your brand or whatever it is that you're showing. They're willing to put 10, 20, 30 minutes of their time a week into it. Then why wouldn't I want to do more of that? I mean, the Represent channel got so successful and we were filming more than just brand stuff, and I want to keep that, like I said on the last question, that's got to be polished, that's got to be directly correlated to the brand. Now, us as people, we do a lot more than just brand. We do a lot of stuff. We're in fitness, we're in fashion, we're in lifestyle, we're doing other things. So I wanted to build a personal channel that could not only show the lifestyle side of things, but also educate on a different level to where the brand can. And I feel like we can create two different consumers there, although it'll cross over a lot, and we enjoy doing it. I think for me, it's like the opposite of the way everyone's going. Short attention spans, TikToks, little things here and there, unpolished content. Like, we're doing the opposite of that, and when everyone zigs, we zag, and it's worked for us in the past, and I think it'll work for us now. Rapid fires, here we go. Go on, Diego. Sunrise. Chest press. Haircut, man. Love a haircut compliment. Vintage. Upper body every single day of the week. Steak and fries with the gravy from Chateau Marmont. A can of Cadence, obviously. Ooh, I've not been listening to music a lot recently. I've actually not been playing anything, but favorite artist has always been Guns N' Roses and Oasis. See, that's a tough one because I don't really order fast food, but I will have a nibble of Ashley's when she orders stuff. Is Burger She Wrote classed as fast food? No, yeah. Burger She Wrote, bro. Double smash, Wagyu patty, boom. Fucking bull. Actually, no, it's Hunter McIntyre. Hunter McIntyre is my spirit animal. Probably just the fire. Or this. I do that one a lot. Coffee order. Cold brew with vanilla if John's got me on a diet, but if he's not, I'll have some milk in there. definitely fly. I always used to dream of just being able to fly with my arms, just fucking running out of my bedroom window and flying. I still have them dreams today, but I don't think it's ever gonna happen. Huh? When? Early mornings, 5 a.m. till 10 a.m. is when I'm fucking rampant on inspiration. Ooh. There's a new Aston Martin called the Valhalla. They're making 100 of them, and it looks fucking insane. I would like that. Very British, very sick, very unique. Maybe get one. Absolutely bodybuilding. Greek yogurt. That's it.